Okay, this is the neutral cards. Neutral card Ryu, Arena Ryu, for Scholomance Academy. Now, neutrals make up the abundance of arena decks for the most part, and will be the most impactful because, well, all classes have access to them. Start with the legendary rarity since these are start with the least likely cards. Just get through these. So Keymaster Alabaster. 7 mana, 6/8. So stat line is a fair stat line. Now the effect. Whenever your opponent draws a card, add a copy to your hand that costs 1. This is a broken effect. This effect should not exist in the game. At least this is why it's reserved for a legendary, and it makes sense. This effect cannot if you leave this effect, leave this guy on board without killing it, you will lose the game. Your opponent will, or the person that has this, get value from cards at an insane tempo because they're now 1 mana. And they also have information of cards that are drawn. This card should not exist, but at least it's a legendary effect. This is a double S. This card's insane. The effect itself is just ridiculous. It could just be 1S, but I gave it 2. It doesn't really matter. This card's stupid. If you don't kill this, you lose the game. Or at least silence it, so yeah. Headmaster Kel'Thuzad. 5 mana, 4/6 spell burst. If the spell destroys any minion, summon them. So, stat wise, it's fine for a 5-drop, 4/6 Spiteful Smith or whatever. This card's insane in any spell heavy removal class. Mage, this is a dumb card because AoE Fireball. Priest, this is really Priest and Warlock are really dumb with this card. Rogue as well. Druid swipe maybe, but Shaman main removal is Hex. But if you have the Portal or Torrent or no, Earthquake kills this as well. Lightning Storm. So let me go through the classes. Demon Hunter has removal spells. Yeah, not Twin Slice, Immolation Aura, Soul Cleave, but not too, or Nova, not too many. Druid has Starfall, Starfire, Swipe, not too many. Hunter can have a lot. Deadly, or the spell itself doesn't kill for Unleash the Beast, or Unleash the Hounds. But Mage, Priest, not Paladin unless you hammer Rav or Consec. Rogue has a fair amount of damage spells and they're cheap. Yeah, so this is gonna be a good card. This is an S tier card. You know what? I'm just gonna give it S because it's a one use. But it's still insane. It could be double S. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's just, yeah, it's a S tier. It's a dumb effect. And in the review video, the person, or they high rolled Brawl. Kel'Thuzad, the headmaster won Brawl, and they summoned every dead minion that Brawl killed. Alright, so next one, Vectis. 5 mana, 4/6, Battlecry. Summon 2 1/1 whelps. Each gains a death rattle from your minions that died this game. It's a dragon, which don't really think it matters too much. From what I believe I heard or read somewhere, each whelp will gain a different death rattle, or meaning that if only one death rattle minion died in a game, only one of those whelps would get the death rattle. So it's a 1-to-1 type of thing. So if more than one, or if multiple copies of minion X with a death rattle die, both whelps can get that same death rattle because it would be paired off of a different one. So yeah, this is a good card, but if you don't get it, it's still a 5 mana, 4/4 and 2/1/1, so it's fine. It's playable on curve without any huge ridiculous thing. It's an A. Again, so 5 mana, 6/6 is not bad. It's pretty damn good. So it's fine. A is fine. Lorekeeper Polkelt. Polkelt. 4 mana, 4/5, so it's a Yeti stat line. Battlecry, reorder your deck from the highest cost card to the lowest cost card. So this is good in aggressive decks. Low curve aggressive decks on curve. Assuming you have like a 5 mana card in hand. Unless you, yeah. This is not good in most of the classes, unless you're top decking. This looks to be some kind of program code, pseudo code, or whatever. This is a iterative looking type of thing. Loop, where loop. So it has a very distinct use, which can screw you over. So I will put it at a C minus. This is not an easy card to use. If you play this on curve, kinda have to have stuff in your hand, or hopefully your deck is not too heavy. Because then you draw like your bomb cards. So you probably want to have at least a 5-drop ready up when you play, if you play this on curve. Or if you top out a 6 or 7, this is fine. Probably, as long as you have cards in hand to play your next turn. But yeah, this is not an easy card. I could even give this a D+, but I think this effect can be, if you know how to play this properly, this can be very good too, if you hold on to it. Yeah. Sphere of Sapience. So neutral weapon, 1 mana 0/4. The start of your turn, look at the top card. You can put it on the bottom and lose 1 durability. So I guess that's what you give in at the end if you. So you put this back instead. This is a good card. Probably don't want to draft this in a weapon class. So don't draft this in rogue or warrior or paladin. You may consider it in shaman. You may consider it. Other classes it can be good, especially in control classes. um, Not sure how good this is, but it's very interesting. This is not an easy card to use. I mean, you play it and then you see if you want it or not, but I'm going to give this a B. Give this a B. Again, it's very class dependent and deck dependent. No, maybe more archetype dependent. So okay, on to the epics. First epic, neutral epic, Educated Elec, 3 mana 3/4 beast. So premium 3-drop stat line. The effect, however, not quite so sure. Whenever a spell is played, this minion remembers it. Death Rattle, shuffle the spells into your deck. So Play this on curve, then you or your opponent coin afterwards. You're gonna get a coin in your deck, which you almost never want. So I don't know how this works. Or I mean, not how it works, how it will be. However, if you play the coin, or your opponent played the coin already, gets much better. Um, yeah. This also has some use in the late game. You play big spells like in Shaman Eye of the Storm or whatever. It can be good, but I think it could be a detriment. I'm going to give it a B. This effect can be a huge downside, so just gonna make it a B. It's still fine, but I'm gonna have to see how it's played. I think you really have to play this after the coin, or the coin's gonna screw you down the line. Enchanted Cauldron, 3 mana 1/6. So this is the neutral spell burst. Cast a random spell the same cost. If you are average, at least the average arena player, you do not want to play this. You do not want to draft this card ever. This is a almost never draft card. It can save you, but this is an F. This is a never draft actually. It can save you, but you never will want to draft this card. It's just insane. You may want to discover maybe if you want it out, but you would never want to draft this and play it. But yeah. Actually, no, it's not an F. 1 mana, 3 mana, 1/6 is actually not too bad. It's bad, but it's not. Alright, it's not F. It's D minus. There we go. Because the stat line can be used to pick off some shit minions. But 1/6 is not gonna do anything. So yeah. Transfer Student. So this card's really good. 2 mana 2/2. This has different effects based on which game board you're on. So this is the ultimate form of RNG. Like game boards you have no control of whatsoever. And this effect should not exist in the game because it's based on a thing that neither player can control. I mean, it's not going first or second, but it's the game board, which is so dumb. And there's like 30 game boards, but in Arena, it's going to be standard for now, so all of them are huge value cards, or most of them are. Some of the weaker ones are still good. Um, this should cost 3 mana and still be good, but this is an S. Whoops. This is an S card. Actually, I'm gonna revise that. I'm gonna say A plus. It's very inconsistent, and you won't know what it is, and it's different every single game. It's too inconsistent. But they're all good. But I'm gonna leave it as A plus. S I could understand if someone wants to call it S, sure, but A plus because of the consistency, and it's consistently good, but it does different things and may not fit the type of deck depending on the board. It's weird. This fetch should not exist. On to the rares. Robes of Protection. 3 mana 2/4. Your minions have can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. This effect is insane. It's absolutely insane. It negates a lot of removal spells. It blocks out a lot of hero powers like Mage, Priest. No, it blocks out Mage, What up, mage? Wow, it's actually just mage, isn't it? It just bots at mage. Okay. But yeah, this protects against removal. Play big minion. Hide this behind a big taunt. They can't deal with it a lot of times. It's a very good card, but probably was a bit too high on it earlier. This is a tech card. It's a good tech card. If you have a lot of big stuff, I'm giving it B plus. Again, I tend to overrate a lot of cards, probably, especially where this is, no one's gonna argue that this is an insane effect. But probably look to be the effect itself is insane. If this was a 3-4, this would be S tier. Yeah. It's the same effect. I could go A, but people might not draft this. Yeah, it's fine. Cult Neophyte, 2 mana 3/2. Battlecry, your opponent's spells cost 1 more next turn. This is very good in the early stages of the game, especially if you are going first, as it can block out the coin. The later stages of the game, you can do it to try to block out a AoE or removal, but this requires a lot of uh, reads of when uh, of the turn and what you think your opponent might have removal they're holding, but it's a good card. The effect is very impactful actually, so yeah, there's that. And it can also block out spell burst. If you see a spell burst on the board, you play this and they may not be able to get the spell burst value out if you can't kill the spell burst yet. Alright. Voracious Reader. 2 mana 1/3. At the end of your turn, draw until you have 3 cards. So this is a much better Jeeves. Jeeves was in GVG and it was not a legendary. It was a rare, I believe, which is weird. But this is insane. You obviously do not play this on curve. You don't play this in the early game. You play this in the mid game if you're aggressive and you ran out of cards, or in the late game to refill. It's insane effect. Stat line, not so much. But you just slot this in. I'm giving this an A+. I would not fault someone for calling this a S tier card, but I'm giving it A+. Now on to the bread and butter of Arena, the neutral commons. The cards that will plague everyone that still plays Arena. Starting at the top mana slot, play Proto Drake. 8 mana, 8/8 dragon. Death Rattle, summon a random 7 cost minion. This is an insane late game card. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, this card's insane. This is at least A. It could possibly be S. And it's summon. Yeah, it's summon, not give to your hand. This S tier. It's a late game bomb. They play it, you play it, your opponent ignores it, you trade with it, and then you get a 7 drop. It could be bad, it could be good. Even if it's a bad 7 drop, it has to be a detrimental effect for you for the mana not to be worth it. But yeah, this is insane. It could be a bit slow. You probably don't want too many of these. 2 I could see, but anything over that, it's not like it's a value tempo card. It's a value and delayed tempo. So yeah. Onyx Mega Scribe, 6 mana 4/9. Spell Burst. Add 2 random spells from your class to your hand. This is insane in Mage, Priest, Warlock, and other. This can be a very good card class, and you get class cards which are good. Some classes this is an S, but I think in general this is going to be an A plus card. It's also a dragon. I'm not sure what dragon synergies there are going to be. Scale Rider. I guess whatever came from Descent of Dragons or Galgan's Awakening. But A plus is solid. This is a value card. It's very class dependent. Again, Mage, this is S. Priest, probably also S. Warlock is S maybe. Shaman could be S. Rogue. Rogue Warrior, this is not. Probably just an A. But so yeah. So yeah. Oops, not D. A plus S. So yeah. Depends on the class. Smug Senior. 6 mana, 5/7 taunt. Death Rattle, add a 5/7 ghost with taunt to your hand. These are one of the ghost value cards. I believe they're all pretty good. This is going to be meta defining card. This is a meta defining card. So you have to have 7 attack on turn 6, on going into 6 and 7 to clear these guys. This is a very good card. It's a very, I don't think it's S. The value is good, but the value is not game winning good. It allows you to do a turn. So A plus I think is good. Yes, this is good. You could draft 3 of these as your late game 6 play. That's fine. Sorceress Substitute. 6 mana 6/6. Battlecry. If you have spell damage, summon a copy of this. So a lot of people are gonna say 6 mana 6/6 is not good. Okay, that's fair, but a 6 mana 6/6 is playable. That is what I would probably give a B minus. Where Ogre is a B plus. Because 6 mana is one of those mana spots where you start looking for effects instead of just tempo stats. But if you have tempo stats, this challenges a 5 and stays alive at least. So there's that. If you have spell damage, you summon. This is insane. This is like a animated avalanche, but less conditional because you have to have it on the board instead of play it prior turn, but spell damage is more rare. But in this, at least the initial meta, it's gonna probably be somewhat prevalent. Going to give this a B plus. This can be a saint. It might be an A for something like mage, but I think that might probably only mage since they or shaman because they have a spell damage they have spell damage minions, but the Orc Merchant becomes much better. I think B plus is fine for the upside. The downside is not, you don't get it, it's probably B minus. 6/6 for 6 mana is not bad. It's not great, but I think people are just so, or a bit, I don't know. It's not bad, but it depends on the speed of the meta as well. Lake Thresher, 5 mana 4/6. It's already a fair stat line. Now it has also damages the minions next to whomever this attacks. That's an insane effect. This is a minion that you could drop on curve. If they don't have an answer to, they cannot play smaller mid-sized minions anymore without just being destroyed or so far behind in tempo and value. Because you just 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 later on. This is a very good card. It's probably S. Because the effect is so dumb. Some classes with buffs, this is just insane. Pickrock is probably more consistently better, but this is still insane, I think. At worst, this is an A+, but this effect should never exist. Or this should be a 6 mana card. Ogre Mancer. 5 mana 3/7. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, summon a 2/2 skeleton with taunt. This is not that good. It may kind of block out spell burst, but depends what the spell burst is. Still Flame Strike summons, I don't know. Way too damn slow. And not strong enough. Effect. E minus. Yeah, 5 mana. This was smaller and it summoned 1/1s, and like it was like a 1/4 for 3 mana. It would be better, but it's still not good. Wouldn't be good. This card, neutral spell damage. Steward of Scrolls, 5 mana 4/4 elemental, spell damage +1. Battle cry. Discover a minion, a spell. Discover cards are broken. This is a better Azure Drake with draw card. Discover spell. Discover spells are broken. Overpowered. I know people would not give this an S, but I'm giving this an S because of what it can do. The spell damage and this. This is probably a little high in S, but this is getting there where discovering cards should not exist most of the time. This should be a 4/3. To be honest, this should be a 4/3 or 3/4. Yeah, this should be a 3/4 or something, I think. I don't know. What do I know? Oops, didn't cycle the next card. Go. Crimson Hothead, 4 mana 3/6. Dragon. Spellburst, gain +1 attack and taunt. This is a good card. Again, 4 mana 3/6. Not the best, but it's a fair stat line. It's a playable stat line. It's Dragon. Getting a 4/6 taunt is pretty good as well. The effect is not that insane. It's really good, but I'm going to give this an A. If you get this as a 4/6 before it gets damaged or does anything, it's really good. Be a A+ at least. But yeah, A. Divine Rager. 4 mana 5/1. Elemental Divine Shield. This is like Cursed Disciple. It's a little better since it's Divine Shield. You can buff it in buff classes. It's a good card. It's a better Cursed Disciple. I think A is fair. It's a per play. It's a good card. Fishy Flyer. Another one of the ghost cards. 4 mana 4/3 rush. Death Rattle add a 4/3 ghost with rush to your hand. This is a really good card. It's a Pork-Run Elite that gives you another one. It's a good card to removal. Neutral. It could be fill out something if you don't have the removals. It's a very good card. Not as good as Restless Mummy, but There's arguments to make this an S, but I think it's okay because there's tons of ways for rush and removal, so but it's still a really good card. Wretched Tutor, 4 mana 2/5. Spellburst, deal 2 damage to all other minions. So this is a neutral AoE form where it casts Volcanic Potion. It's not bad, but it's if you're running out of stuff, it's at a time in your deck and you don't have the removal, you could draft this. But since there's tons of class stuff, I'm gonna just give this a B. Because the effect AoE is AoE, or at least access to it. So, and again, the bluff factor, they might waste time killing it. Mana Feeder Panthera. 2 mana 2/3 beast. Battlecry, if you use your hero power this turn, draw a card. It's a fine 2-drop. 2 mana 2/3 is fine. That is a B plus type of rating. Yeah. The effect is really good in the late game, mid to late game. With Rogue, Mage especially. This is A plus. You're gonna most likely just play it on 2, but then in later game, really good. A plus. Sneaky Delinquent. 2 mana 3/1. Stealth, Death Rattle out of 3/1 goes with Stealth to your hand. So this is another one of the ghost cards. It is a Twisted Organ that gives you another Twisted Organ. This is the worst of the ghost cards. It's still good. A Twisted Organ back then was a fair card. It was probably a B plus. What B plus would be for B right now, but it's still fine. I'm going to give this an A because it's a value card, but the value is just another 3/1 stealth, which is fine, but an A is fine. It's not that premium, but again, I slightly overrate all these cards, but it's fine. Wand Maker. 2 mana 2/2. Battlecry. Add a 1 cost spell from your class to your hand. This is a good card. It's a good card. To the classes that benefit from it will be what? The ones that are good with Cobalt Spellkin. Shaman. Hunter. But now all the classes have a study, or most of them have studies. This is gonna be a good card. But the randomness and the card itself is not too big of a threat. I think an A is fine. This is a solid card. Statline 2/2 is not the worst. The value can be lead into other shenanigans. It's fine. Animated Broomstick. 1 mana 1/1 rush. Battlecry. Give your other minions rush. This is a good card. The problem is you're going to have to figure out an appropriate time to use this as a ping and then a board rush when you combine other minions. But the problem is the order. You have to make sure the board is already established. So that's also important for Death Rattles. I want to give this an A plus, but I think the difficulty hinders it. The fact that it's a ping on its own is also pretty good. So I think an A is fine. This would be an A plus, but this is probably A plus, but I think A is fine. It honestly doesn't matter too much. Intrepid Initiate. 1 mana 1/2. Spellburst gain +2 attack. If you get the Spellburst, it's good, but it's a weak card in terms of you have to get it early. C minus. The reason why it's not in the D range is because you could play this on one, it's okay. In the late game, it's a card filler, which is not the worst. But it's not great. So yeah. Pen Flinger. 1 mana, 1/1. Battlecry, deal 1 damage. Spellburst, return this to your hand. So, this is a strictly better Elven Archer. We could just continuously chain these guys. An Elven Archer is not a bad card. It's a B, B+, probably a B. This will be... It's a good card. It's a solid card. An A? No, A minus, because I gave some of the A minus. Yeah, because I gave those other cards A's and their effect is much more insane. A minus, it's whatever. Not bad, it's a good card. The potential can be changed. A minus is okay, I was thinking of giving it a B+. Tour Guide. 1 mana, 1/1. Battlecry, your next hero power cost 0. So, this is an okay card. It's not good, it's not bad. It's fair. The effect can be good, especially in Mage, Rogue, stuff like that. Demon Hunter probably doesn't matter too much. But it's good. It's a good card. I could even give this a B+, but it's fine. B sounds fine. The last card, Dusk Imp. 0 mana, 1/1 demon. So a Wisp. It's not a great card, but it's not unplayable F card. Give it a D. It's not great. You probably never want to draft it, but it was up between stuff that can really screw you over. So there's no upside, but so it doesn't have potential to be like a D+, I would say. But so yeah, D. So yeah, that is all for the neutrals. So yeah, if you watched this video, maybe you probably watched some of the other videos. I don't know why, but if you did, that's good. Not okay. So yeah, the neutrals are the most impactful cards in Arena. So yeah, hopefully someone found this helpful, useful, maybe, I don't know. Just the average player, but there'll be more about that in the description. But yeah, so watch if you're on YouTube again, and watch the other classes if you want. So yeah, till then, and yeah, that's all.